Hey man, we back again. What is this now? Episode 3?
Episode 3 is still fresh.
It's still fresh. Still getting used to this thing. But I will say, I'm having a good time. Hold on. Before you get started, Sean, I just want to let one thing be known. This is Discussing the Vibes.
Yes.
With Shawn and Zay. Zay and Shawn out here doing it all over again.
Yes. Welcome to the new audience, the people that listened already.
Right.
Oh, it's going to be a nice one today.
Right.
No, it's going to be a serious one, but it's also going to be a nice one.
Yo, the last time I checked, our last little episode got a couple views. We was in the 20s. We was out here.
Yes, sir. The 20 is good. The 20 is good. No, I think one of them's at 50 or 60 now.
Woo.
So
Okay, I was trying to be modest. Hey yo, one more thing. We definitely got the hookah rolling, so y'all
sure
might
do.
hear that in the background. It's just gonna add to the ambiance. We got a Drake in the background with the nice beat. I will say this, because I know Sean gonna say it like 10 times. We do not own the copyrights to this song.
We sure don't. So any music that you hear playing today on this episode, I do not own the copyrights. I'm only going to say it once. YouTube police, don't come after me, alright? Because I'm not deleting nothing. I'm telling you right now. Well,
so
y'all going to automatically delete anyway, so just don't do it.
Keep us live.
Yeah, man. So how was your week, man?
Hey, yo, weekend was great. Week was great, man. Actually, today I was out with the crew. Mm-hmm. We was in Penn Station handing out care packages, hats, scarves, gloves, food, taking care of some of the homeless out there. We're trying to do this thing reoccurring. I told you I have my nonprofit that I'm trying to kick out. If anybody out there listening knows how to get a board started properly, please hit me up. If anybody's interested, I'm looking for lawyers, definitely, and other people who want to make a change inside their community. Hit me up. Let's see what we could do. But other than that, man, week was great. Had a good time. I'm working on another project with the kids at my job. Mm-hmm. Black History was a success. My job chose to honor Michelle Obama. I drew a little portrait of her.
How'd you feel about that?
I didn't like the portrait.
How did you feel about honoring her?
Honoring Michelle Obama. Well, if you want me to be honest, she is an influential woman of color.
That's true.
Afro-American,
yep.
So-called African-American. We're not going to get into that. But
not this episode.
Not this episode. Later on. But I will say there was a lot of people that could be covered, and I do feel as though this is a short month. I feel as though it doesn't give us enough credit to show all the influential things that dark and melanin people have done on this world.
Or the time for the shit that we done and shit. Like, especially from what we have invented or just even contributed to life today.
Exactly.
It's more than 30 days, 28 days and 32 days on a leap year, 31 days on a leap year?
29.
20 on a leap year?
It's only one more day extra.
What? Who come up with this? Okay. Well, you know what I'm saying.
I can tell you how that whole thing got orchestrated, but I don't think you want to hear that right now.
No, not right now. Not right now. But, well, I'm glad you had a good week. My week, it was not a good week for work.
Man, this is 2 weeks in a row, bro. We need to drop kick somebody.
Yeah, man. So Tuesday, my run. So Tuesday, I didn't run because of the weather, right? Wednesday came, and I went to work like a normal day, right? Hook up to my trailers, because for y'all don't know, I drive tractor trailers. I drive double trailers, so I got to hook up 2 trailers. So I drive to Virginia every day. So thinking I'm going to Virginia like it's normal, right? Look at my paperwork, hook up and leave, right? Get to Virginia as I'm dropping my trailers, because I usually wait for somebody that comes from Charlotte to meet me at the waypoint. I looked at the paperwork The paperwork said you supposed to go to Pennsylvania.
Oh, shoot.
Somerset. That's about 60 miles from Pittsburgh. So when I looked at it, I was like, oh, no, this can't be
So
true.
you had to beeline the 80. You had to backtrack to the 80 and go across.
Yes. And then look, when I looked at that, I was like, no, this can't be happening. So nobody called me on route. You know, say, hey, you know, you a little off. You know, supposed to go here, just make sure. So they said, yeah, you're supposed to go to Somerset today. You know, I said, okay, let me think of something because I got to see how time is going to work to make it up because that was another 2.5 hours going that way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's already 6 hours and some change going one way. You know.
And so for those who don't know, tell them about the hours real quick. Just a quick.
Oh yeah, so for the CDL Class A, Class B people, mainly Class A, I'm just gonna stick to what I do. You can only drive 11 hours a day. You could work 14 hours. Alright, so that means you could drive 11 and be on duty non-driving for 14. So most of my stuff is mainly driving, so I really ate up all of my hours that day. So I called my contractor, said, hey, you know, I messed up. You know, I went here by accident. He was like, oh, Shawn, I forgot to tell you this morning before you left. They canceled your run originally to Virginia. And yeah, they called me and said, hey, you know, can he go to Somerset? He didn't relay that to me. So when I told him, he was like, oh, it's no big deal. Like, in my head, I don't make mistakes like that. That's a big mistake. You know, I've been at the company as long as I have been. Yeah. So thank God.
So they could have tried to throw that on you because you didn't look at the paperwork.
No. Well, it was a lot of contributing factors. Yeah, that I'm accountable for that. But my contractor should have called me in the morning and left a message. And the office should have reminded me also when I got there, when I got my paperwork, hey, you're going to Somerset today. Which they didn't. You know, they just told me the trails that I was getting from there, which they normally do. But it's okay. You know, I made up the time. Then Thursday, speeding this up real quick. Then Thursday, I get to Virginia like I normally do. They call me to the office. Oh man, you know, you went to the wrong place today. I know they was joking. So the guy that I supposed to meet, right? that I met broke down. So I'm like, yo, they wanted me to go to Charlotte. I was like, I'm not even gonna have the time to make it to Charlotte from where I'm at now. I can't go to Charlotte once I'm in Virginia. You have to let me know that ahead of time. So I met another driver about 20 miles down from where I usually meet him up. Made it back on time. So and now it's Sunday. Now it is 12. It is 28 hours. I'm going by 24.
If you're going to deal with that Greco-Roman calendar and time, but that's another subject for another time.
Hey,
I had to throw that in there.
You're gonna have your day for that, man. I'm gonna learn that day, man.
Throw that in. But let's get it rolling, man. We getting right to it. We got a few things to talk about tonight, right?
All right.
I'm gonna throw a little loop in there just to let y'all know. It's not gonna be too many heavy topics, but we got a few heavy topics. We got a few heavy topics to talk about. Something that's been on my mind. And by the way, I just want to say, a lot of these discussions that we have are very impromptu. We do them right on the spot. So you're getting kind of first reaction, first take to a lot of things. And so the way we do these things, we don't we just go out and do them and give our natural opinion. Sometimes our opinion may change, and if that happens, we'll throw an amendment in there. Hey man, I felt this way, I had time to think about it, I feel a different way. And we kind of want things like that. We want to get the vibe as the vibe happens.
Yes.
You know the vibe, Shawn.
It's all natural vibe. There ain't nothing here scripted. We literally just freestyle everything, you know.
Yes, indeed.
Not all the proper grammar. Excuse me. See, I messed it up now saying that.
It's all good.
You know. So should we just get right into it?
Get right into it, Shawn. You know you want to. You know you want to. What you talking about first, man? What you got on your table of things that disturbed you?
Well, this week or the last couple weeks, or the last week and some change. This whole story with Jussie Smollett. I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, at least his last name, but here's what I've been calling him now. I was talking to a close friend of mine, Anthony. He watched the show. So when I first seen the news, I was like, yo, you heard that shit that happened with Hakeem? I was calling him Hakeem, even though that's actually...
Hey, that is not his name on the show.
There's a guy named Hakeem on the show, though.
But that's not him.
I know, but I was like, yo, what happened to Hakeem? I just seen the thing. I was like, yo, look what happened to Hakeem. And by the way, I want to make a disclosure. This subject is a very serious subject. That's why it bothers me a little bit. I don't have no experience with this type of incident, but I know some people that it can affect, and he's playing in dangerous territories with the stuff that is coming out as of lately. It's not good, but we're gonna get into that.
So are we throwing the word allegedly around here today?
We want to use allegedly because the story just changed. The story just changed. So I'm going to try to use it. I usually don't use that word too much in my vocabulary. So excuse me. So just remember, today is going to be allegedly. Mm-hmm. And again, this is a very serious topic. I want to shout out to my beautiful black people first, right?
Our dark and melanin brothers and sisters out there in this world. Yes. And shout out to you. And
I want to shout out to the LGBTQ community too. I want to shout them out too, because this is really for y'all, and it's for the black community as well. It's like a double thing today.
So without going too far into it, I understand there's various aspects and communities here that get affected. I don't like mixing and mingling them. I know what you're saying. Within the I'm going to use this term. A lot of people who are close to me know that I don't like to use the term African American or Black American or Afro American. I use those terms because that's what we identify with as of now. Mm-hmm. In a later podcast, we'll go into detail. But I know these issues affect across the board all genders, all races, all identities, all cultures. But when we're talking about an incident that specifically happens in one, me personally, I like to solely keep the spectrum on that specific group or that specific identity. I will be honest, and this is going to get some backlash. When it comes to
when somebody breathes deep, it's about
when it comes to sexual orientation, I think it's different than your identification of sex. What I mean is, I think there's male and female, no matter what your mindset is. Don't hold me to a fire, and if you choose to, then I mean, hey. But I do think there's different orientations out there, or identities. But those are more mental, psychological. Those are things that happen mentally, and then it's expressed physically, versus when you're born. And I know there's some lines there, because there's some cases where, there's some cases where people are born with more than one sex, and those type of things happen. But we're not gonna get too deep into that. But back to what you were saying. I didn't mean to cut you off.
You good? Damn, what was I saying?
You were talking about the Empire gentleman.
Yeah, Jussie Smollett, or what I'm gonna call him, Jussie Gillette. I'm gonna just call him that.
Why are you gonna put the pun on the man's name?
Because we getting him out of here, man.
Are you serious?
So yeah, I'm serious. What you mean? So I'm gonna explain why, and I like what you said. And throughout this whole episode of him going on with his attack, and I want to be clear, there are people that do get attacked because of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make that clear. So
and what they stand for.
And what they stand for. So I am sympathetic for the people that have been through that. Because I know that is a serious topic. And I'm making that clear, and I'm making that as a disclaimer. Because I do care about people. You know, I'm generally a caring man.
Okay.
But what he's doing, and again, it's allegedly... I don't like it. I don't like it.
Break it down. Break it down into some finite points. What exactly don't you like?
All right, so I'm just going to freestyle right now before I even look at the article. So what allegedly happened with him, it was around 2 a.m. in Chicago. He was leaving the subway at 2 in the morning in Chicago. Cold Chicago, by the way. This was, I think, like the week before or the week after that little polar vortex they had.
Right, it was like the 22nd or so.
Yeah, when it was like negative, like, you know.
Whatever, it was super cold.
It was super cold. And so I don't know what street it was. Again, like I said, I'm just freestyling from what I remember from the time the story broke. Was 2 guys in hoods walked up to him. And say, hey, aren't you that... Now, from what I remember, this is the thing I want to make sure, clear. I'm not sure if this is why I need to read the article, but I'll go to that later. I think they either said, aren't you that gay dude from Empire? Oh, no, aren't you that gay nigga from Empire? Or aren't you that faggot from Empire? Excuse my vulgar language. If he didn't say that, I apologize. Again, I'm going to pull it up in a little bit. You know, but I believe it was, aren't you that gay nigga from Empire? And then he said what he said, and then they jumped him, poured something on him, and then they poured something on him, beat him up or whatever, put a noose around his neck. I forgot about that. They put a noose around his neck, and then they left.
So this is a hate crime on a number of levels. So you have a racial crime going on, as well as a crime against his sexual orientation and identity.
Yes, and that's why I said for both communities, because you know a lot of people like to separate one gender from the next gender, right? But in this case, because they put both of them in the same, both attacks in the same, you know, in the same space. It's covering multiple layers here. Yeah, that's why I said it like that, because I know people that's going to be listening like, listen, you can't use the black agenda with ours, and it's like, in this instance, yes, in my opinion, I feel like I could use that. Okay. Because of, you know, the attack. So that's understandable. Yeah, so then he went to the hospital. Again, I'm freestyling, y'all. He went to the hospital, you know, we didn't hear from him a couple of days. The report came out, everybody was showing support as they did. And then, you know, and then I think a couple days later, about 3 or 4 days later, he came back out, and you know, he was like, I'm good, y'all. Like the traditional, I'm good, y'all. You know, no long sentences or nothing. I'm good, y'all. And then he went on stage, performed somewhere, let everybody know he was all right. And then went a little quiet, and then that's when the stories started coming up. Like around the top, even when the story came out, people was skeptical. It didn't sound funny. It didn't sound correct. Now, can I just give y'all my opinion?
Before you give your opinion, explain the story a little bit, because we have to figure out what exactly didn't you like, because as it seems now, it seems like this man was attacked and viciously, I might add, viciously attacked, and was subjected to some very serious hate crimes. And you know, going back, especially dealing with Black history now, it's kind of interesting that these things happen now, but we see these things happen all across not only America but across the world. And you know, that noose has been a hard staining image for us for a really long time. Right. It's so I mean, I've had family members who had to leave certain states back in the day because they were chased, or because of certain instances where the states was doing. Yeah, like we had some family members that, you know, had to leave Mississippi due to being threatened by You know,
people from the
Caucasians. Yeah. I don't want to lump all Caucasians into that because we know that's not.
Oh yeah, that's not true. This doesn't go to all Caucasians.
It was clan members. I mean, it is what it is. So they had to uproot and kind of do a new thing somewhere else because of fear.
Mm-hmm.
So these things are very prevalent and they're very serious.
Right.
So what struck you as odd about the story that, you know?
Alright, this is where a little ignorance come in. Alright? So I'm going to just put that out there now. That's another disclaimer. It's about to sound a little ignorant come from me, but that's just my opinion. Again, it was sympathetic. I'm sympathetic to the people that been through that. This story did not sound all that right to me. First things first,
Mm-hmm.
all right? The first thing I said, right, was, all right, you leaving the subway at 2 a.m. In my head, I'm like, this was just the things clicking in my head. That's obvious stuff that probably didn't really matter. I was like, what subway you at 2 a.m? That's the first thing I was thinking.
Can I offer a rebuttal?
Yes.
Shawn, there's been a number of times where we've been out at 2 a.m.
No, that's true.
There's been a number of times where we've been out at 2 a.m. and got on the train.
Yeah, that's true. So. No, I'm not saying that him being out at 2 a.m. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying a subway at 2 a.m. That's what I'm saying. Not a subway train. I'm talking about the restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm talking about the restaurant.
Like a subway restaurant.
This guy think I'm talking about a subway. Yeah, Chicago do have subways, but I'm talking about the restaurant. Yeah,
is the nightlife? I know the nightlife in Chicago is kind of popular.
Well, see, and that's what I was thinking too. If it's downtown, it's probably most likely going to be at one open. All right, and then the second thing was, you know, how he said the attackers came up to him and approached him.
So go ahead and go into that. I'm interested.
When he said, I'm gonna try to see if I can find it real quick. I kind of want to be correct. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna read this real quick. On June 29th, I said June. On January 29th, Smollett is allegedly attacked at 2 a.m. near his apartment in Chicago. Two masked assailants poured an unknown chemical substance on him, possibly bleach, and wrapped a rope around his neck. He told police in a follow-up interview with police. I don't know why they said it like that. Gillette alleges that the attackers yelled "MAGA country." Forgot that part. Yelled "MAGA country" and referred to President Trump's "Make America Great Again" slogan.
Yeah, that's the MAGA hat.
Yep.
So they was wearing these hats, or were they?
No, I think no. He's saying that the report saying they just yell, "It's MAGA country."
Okay.
So I'm not even surprised. Like, that's something that I could see. From the MAGA community,
especially with the last bit of things that's been going on in the news.
So after I seen that, I was like, well, wait, if this is when I had to think about where I've been at 2 a.m. in major cities,
mm-hmm.
and who's around major cities at 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
With all due respect, for me, that was hard to believe that two guys with, you know, that's in that type of community, I'm talking about the MAGA community, is walking around Chicago looking for somebody to beat up at 2 a.m. I
gotta disagree with you.
You can.
I'm gonna tell you why. So, what usually happens at 2 a.m, you're coming from an event. He probably was just coming from his crib or whatever, but you're coming from an event, and you know it. We've been in New York. And, you know, we walk into a whole bunch of guys that's
You've been in Staten Island too long. That New York just sound, man, New Yorker, man. Yo, you've been in Staten Island too long, man. Come back.
But we've been in New York, and we've been in the situations where there's been groups of guys who've been drinking, doing other, you know, recreational drugs and things of that nature, and they get belligerent.
Yes.
So, I mean, maybe these guys were coming from something, and, you know, they had a little bit of courage juice in a tank, and that courage juice caused them to act out on their biased opinions towards other ethnicities in this country.
Mm-hmm.
We see it a lot, especially, what's going on is very touchy-feely with the whole race arguments and things like that. So I can kind of see this happening. I could kind of see where this situation, everything is in the right spot, brewing towards something a little truthful here. Like, we see this, and we see a number of these issues happen. Like, I don't know if you remember, but in the 90s, there were a lot of homosexual men and women who were berated, attacked, and even killed at some point.
I think the 80s and 90s in New York. That's when it was heavy. Yeah, and I was thinking that too. Like, it isn't like that's so far-fetched. Because I remember I was watching a documentary about, like, a few months ago about this lady that's from Elizabeth that was a big part of the LGBTQ community. Well, it wasn't the LGBTQ back then. At least not all the letters. Excuse me, y'all. I'm just trying to really remember. Mm-hmm. And she was killed, and they dumped her body in the Hudson, right there by the pier, off of the West Side Highway. And around that time, yeah, they was getting attacked. But what also was happening? They was fighting back,
which is a good thing.
Like, they was fighting back.
Not to jump too far ahead in your story, but I believe just even maybe a couple of days ago now, he was on Good Morning America, and his I
don't like that. I don't like the Good Morning America. Like,
you don't like the fact that it seems like a publicity ploy for you.
Yeah, why you on Good Morning America? Like,
that's what people are going to get heard. So,
but they always go after controversy. They always go to GMA. I watch GMA every morning. So
I know you do.
So I got up. The first thing I do, because I get up around the time that it's on, and I'm looking like, why are you? I didn't believe it the night before.
I'm gonna tell you why. Do you know who supports and who runs Good Morning America? I don't want to say it like that. That might be the wrong choice of words, but I know as far as the political stance, it's a very Republican show. Mm-hmm. They have Republicans often.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Talk about topics dealing with Republicans. So if you have somebody, which Trump is a Republican, that's his political party, whether they like him or not. But they have supported Republicans in the past. And when you have a platform like that, what better way to take the argument to them? And a lot of these racist, whether it's true or not, a lot of these racist MAGA wearing hats and people who are doing these things, they kind of been lumped in with that whole Republican bias, so to speak. Not saying everybody who's Republican is racist, not saying everybody who supports Trump is racist, although those lines are pretty hard and they can be easily blurred. We're going to take a political stand here and say we're not going to support that argument.
Right. So
go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off. He was attacked at 2 a.m.
Yeah, he was attacked at 2 a.m. And so that was just me when I'm saying I didn't believe that part. So all right, that was one thing. And then now this is going to be the real ending part. Now, and then when you just said it could have been a drunk thing, maybe it might make a little more sense, because I didn't think about alcohol.
But it sounds like preconceived that they poured some, especially if it was bleach.
Yeah.
So it looked like they was on a hunt for something.
Right.
So I get you on that.
So then it's what these gentlemen said, allegedly. It was like, aren't you that N-word from Empire? Now, this is when the ignorance. I was thinking, if a white man walking up to me, I do not expect him to come up to me and say it like that if he's trying to be racist.
But something I think I remember, because I didn't follow the story, people, and I apologize. Maybe being on the podcast and knowing that we're going to talk about issues, I should. But wasn't he worried about previous threats and things like that?
Him? Yes. That I'm not sure about.
So I think they said that, and if they said that, that would bring a little See, I think.
Wait. I think you're right. Hold on.
I think he did say something like he was
the week before or something, right?
Bothered by these situations, and he's been getting things. So if these people have been stalking him for a while, and it could seem where it's been preconceived, and they just waited for the right moment where they can catch him.
All right, so I'm gonna backtrack real quick. So on the 22nd of January, there was a story that came out saying Smollett reports to police receiving a threatening letter to the Fox studio where Empire is filmed, containing threatening language and laced with powdery substance investigators believe was likely crushed up Tylenol.
Question.
What is that? What is that?
That sounds really weird. But what I will say, also just to add to it, Fox isn't Good Morning America on Fox, or is that
No, I don't. That's where I think you might have got confused with. Fox is the one that is the Republic. I think GMA is ABC, NBC. I think they cater kind of to the liberals and the Democrats.
Okay.
So you might have got that a little messed up from what I remember.
And if I did, I apologize.
Yeah. Fox News. You know, and this is just I watch the news here and there. A lot of people don't watch the news. I would like to see my weather, you know. But whenever they talk about the political topics, I notice that most of these news networks do cater.
So you might be right. I might be wrong.
They do cater to certain parties.
Okay.
They try to hide it, but they do. So he was threatened before, and then what else happened after that? I got it right here. All right, let's see. All right. You want to take this over real quick for me, Zay? All right. Let's see. All right, so yeah. So then on the 30th of January, the police in Chicago. That's another subject we got to get into. The Chicago police. That's another subject.
Shout out to all my fam and friends that's in Chicago.
Shout out to Chicago. I love Chicago. I was supposed to go there last year. I'm acting like it's so far away. I love Chicago. Zay tell you how much I talk about it. It's a beautiful looking city. And
I'm there often. At least so far. Last year I went about 2 times. The year before that I went about 3 times. So I've been to Chicago a few times.
I'm going to make my way this year. So basically on the 30th of January they had seek 2. They was looking for 2 subjects of interest, basically, for the attack. So, and then on the 31st, the family had made a statement. Smollett family releases an emotional statement describing the alleged attack as a hate crime. Air quote.
Understandable.
Yep, understandable, as you should. In the early hours Tuesday morning, our beloved son and brother Jussie, and excuse me if I'm really pronouncing his name wrong. I'm not trying to do it on purpose. I think I'm saying it right. Jussie, there you go. Jussie was a victim of a violent, unprovoked attack. We want to be clear: this was a racial and homophobic hate crime. You see, they put it in the same quote. All right. The family wrote in a statement to ABC News. It is ABC News. Jussie told the police everything from the very beginning. His story has never changed. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to chuckle at that, but when we get later on to the story,
I'm doing some changes. I did hear driving to work one morning. I usually don't listen to the radio. Because of personal biases, I don't like them that much. But the Charlemagne cat was saying,
you gotta relax with my boy, man.
Was saying some interesting things. He was saying some interesting things as far as I don't think he absolutely believed the story as well. He said he felt as though defending the gentleman defending himself, Jussie, defending himself, kind of made him stick out more. It made it seem a little, I don't want to put words in Charlemagne's mouth because I really didn't listen to it, but it seemed like he was on the same vibe that you on, like I don't really feel this incident.
Now, one person that, I listen to his podcast, Joe Budden. When I was listening to his episode, I think it was early this week, and when he was saying how he felt,
Hold on. Shout out to Joe Budden's podcast.
Yes, shout out to Joe Podcast.
I don't watch it that often, but they do a good job. They do a good job. Hopefully one day we'll reach those heights.
Yes, hopefully. All
right, back to serious.
But yeah, he was basically saying like how he don't even believe it, you know. But he did bring up a point that I glanced at during the beginning of the story, but I didn't click on the article. There was another article that he had mentioned from Reddit. You heard of Reddit, right? So Reddit is Reddit. Like it's just a website that's a major forum that have a lot of theories and stuff like that. You know, it's also helpful when you use it right, but you have a lot of fools on there as well. So there was a story allegedly. Dang, I wish I could pull it. I might pull it out if I can find it. But basically, the story was saying like how he was leaving a nightclub. This is how the story, like the Reddit story came out, right? He was leaving a nightclub in Chicago, right? Allegedly, no, excuse me. He was in the club messing with somebody's dude in there, right? And then he was leaving out, and then he got attacked that way. Now, when I seen that story, guess what I did? That's a lot more believable than the original story. That's my opinion. You know, again, I'm not taking away, you know, the trauma that has caused amongst the people that have been in situations, but for me, the original story just didn't seem like it added up after I after I heard that story. It just didn't, you know, that sound more believable on Reddit than what came out of his actual mouth, you know. But then again, you know, still always pray for the victim. You don't know until everything all lays out. And you know, these days, you know, I want to say this too. We so stuck on the immediate news, right? We like to have sympathy for everybody, right? So quick, now this is gonna be touchy saying this too. We have sympathy as we should, right? We so quick to jump on the story and just run with it, right? But then what happens during time, right? When other things start popping out in the story, people get quiet, right? Especially when something don't really stick to the original story, or when false stories come out. People quiet doing those. I like to wait until a story like really stretches out and I get more detail before I just jump on you know, I feel sorry, it's bandwagon. I'm sorry, y'all. It sounds bad, but that's just how I am.
No, but that's honestly the way we're supposed to be. You know, I'm always a component of critical thinking and unbiased opinions, and the only way we can do that is by having the facts. Sorry to bring the biblical matters into this, but the Bible says, prove all things. And when there's 2 or 3 witnesses, the saying goes, a fact is established. So, what is just like going to court, the onus is on the plaintiff in proving his case.
Right.
And in this sense, it's probably important. You know, we have laws that say things like, you know, you're innocent until proven guilty. Right? You know, so ideally what we want to make sure that we have done is not judge things biasly, have the right amount of information, have our proof before we go ahead and make these claims and judge people.
Right.
A lot of times we jump the gun too quick, and then we find out things weren't as truthful as they were. It has happened in our history a lot, for and against us. You know what I mean? So it's important, especially when you're, dare I say, a minority in this country. It's important that we go ahead and get these proofs. It's also important to understand that history doesn't speak too kindly on other groups and the treatment of us.
Right.
So I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not going to go too deep. But now you're on the right path. It's not wise to just go ahead and jump to conclusions.
So I'm gonna tell you when I started thinking different about stories, right? Gotcha. I watched a documentary, it was a small 15-minute quick doc off of New York Times on YouTube, and it was talking about this this girl in 1987 named Tawana Brawley. I don't know if you heard of her.
Go ahead.
So this story is what really made me start thinking, like, okay, I need to really not just jump on stories. So basically, long story short, it's a simple story, but it opens eyes. So the girl basically she basically was allegedly raped, right? And she had writing on her saying, racial slurs and stuff like that. And what happened was, she had blamed it on some white men, right? This happened in upstate New York. As the investigation went on, right, they started they took pictures, they started getting evidence off her skin, DNA. And Al Sharpton got involved. I started looking at him different now after that. Believe it or not. Now you you should have been. But after that, I was like, and this is something that happened a long time ago, but I was like, wait, this happened? So long story short, come to find out that she wrote the stuff on her own body, right? She said it was white guys that did it. They detained the white guys that was in the script. They had to do the little, how courts in the law do the little sketch. They found the two dudes. They claimed they didn't do it. Al Sharpton got involved, did what Al Sharpton did. Come to find out when they did the investigations, she written that stuff on herself. She did that to herself, right? She wasn't raped or nothing. She did that to run away from, I think, her a family member, basically. She did that to run away, right? And when I seen that, I was like, yo, that's nuts. That is nuts. You make a false statement, and she was a little girl at the time too. You make a false statement, and you get Al Sharpton involved. You get these innocent white men, detained. You know how we all sit together when something goes bad, right? As a community, we rallying behind her, just to find out that you lied. You know how to make us look. And I was really disappointed when I seen that story, man. It really made me look at things different. And then after Al Sharpton was like, well, listen, man, he did not want to deny that it was wrong. He did not want to deny that it was wrong. And that was just nuts. Okay, but that was just nuts.
We hopped on the tangent. Let's get back on Jussie.
Yes.
It's interesting. It's interesting that we have to take all of these things, and you know what was really telling about the community is the fact that we have these social issues where we have to do all of this due diligence, where if we were dealing with the right type of society, we wouldn't have these problems at all. And that's kind of what's striking to me. Even what we're going to talk about next, which I'm going to throw on you because I didn't tell you anything about me wanting to talk about this, but we're going to get into it I guess after we get done with
the Jussie.
Yeah.
With Jussie.
Yeah.
Alright, so continuing on now. So what I leave off with after the family. Let me see. I want to make sure I just get right back into the case. Alright, so alright, we're going to continue at. Sorry for the silence real quick. Just doing something real quick. Excuse me. Alright, let me fast forward a little bit. Alright, so on the 4th of February, Chicago police released the initial incident report about the alleged attack on Smollett. The report reveals that Smollett was apparently. Why does this shit happen like that? Oh, this shit acting crazy. My phone be tripping.
Yo, that's what happens in the vibe sometimes.
Yeah, my phone tripping. My bad, y'all.
Man, things are very impromptu.
It really is. We'll get better due time.
Maybe that's just what the vibe is, man. Sometimes you gotta have a little hiccups. What's life without a few hiccups, man?
Right. All right, so let me just, since my phone acted up, let me get right into the shit. So,
yeah, what really bothered you about this thing? Because so far, what we have is lots.
Well, the last couple of things have been going on.
Well, go ahead.
The last couple. So this week
we should get into.
All right, so, stories started coming out that he faked the attack. Now, when I was talking to Ant, shout out to Anthony, when I was talking to him, you know, he was reading the story a little bit. You know, I was working and whatever, and I didn't have time to really look at it when I got home. He was saying that it makes sense that they probably did it because they're killing him off of Empire, right? So they kill him off of Empire, and he might not have no work after that.
They are?
They might, yeah, allegedly. And that's when, you know, sources came out saying that. That's the next part of the, that was like the first rumor that he didn't, you know, it was a hoax.
You want to know what? Very sidebar. I don't watch the Empire show like that, but I think he's one of the popular.
No, he's most popular.
So I don't think killing him off would be too good for that show. So I can't hold. That'd be really odd. Like, it'd be a shocker if they did that, and I wonder how would they move going forward. But go ahead, continue. I'm sorry. Yeah,
so that was like the first hoax, alleged story that came out that, you know, that might be a reason why. And then the recent stuff. I'm skipping around a little bit, so excuse me if I don't have all my facts straight. Again, you people that's listening to this podcast, thank you for listening and tuning in. You could clearly make a comment, share the podcast, say, hey, Shawn, you was wrong about that. You had it all wrong. You could really say that. You know, so I'm not really the type of guy that really don't mind criticism, nothing like that. Like, please critique me. I like that. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what I'm doing right. I like that. So just basically fast forward, and I'm gonna get really to why this bothers me so much. So then the Nigerian thing came out that the two brothers, they allegedly did it. They knew him. One of the dudes knew him. They flew, I think, right after they flew to Nigeria, and they came back, got arrested.
Oh, so these Nigerian African brothers.
Yeah, but they're from here.
Yeah.
So originally, the story that the dudes knew Jussie, right? And then today and yesterday, what happened? Oh, so yeah, they got released. They was detained and then they got released. And then today, excuse me, hold on. Ooh,
bless you.
Thank you. Had to do the quiet sneeze. So then, what happened after that? They got released, and then when I got off work today, Anthony tagged me in a post that said, no, the police confirmed that them two gentlemen might be involved, and they confirming that it most likely a hoax. It's like a hoax. It is a hoax.
Police said this.
Yeah, police said this. Police confirmed. Wow. I guarantee you. Now, let me see. If I go on Twitter right now, which I'm going to do, he should be still trending.
So this is a trending topic as we speak.
Yeah, what's this?
Wow. So you hear it. You know.
Yep.
On discussing the vibes. The trending topic is this is a hoax. Now this is new to me.
Yeah, trending in the U.S. Jussie Smollett. And here's the headline.
Mm-hmm.
The headline is let me go to the. I'm gonna read the headline.
Shawn, you just paused like we had a poltergeist situation.
No. I heard the door.
You ain't hear nothing. You ain't hear nothing, Shawn.
It's just me. I'm tripping.
You tripping tonight.
I'm tripping. All right. So, Gillette. I said Gillette.
You really trying to cut this guy? Go ahead.
Jussie Gillette attack investigation has shifted. Police confirmed. I'm sorry, I keep saying that.
So if this is true, you're really changing this man's last name to Gillette?
Yeah, well, one, I never watched Empire. So, and I don't know of this guy too much. But all right, let me just get right to the shits. The shits. Why this is disrespectful to me and why it bothers me so much. Because you're playing with people's livelihood.
I agree.
We said at the same time.
Yeah.
You're playing with communities now that's supporting you through this issue. So for you to just lie, because it's real people that get attacked for them things.
Right.
There's people that I know that could get attacked for these things.
It's people that you know that have been bullied in the
Yes, and that too. So you're playing with fire here, and he's a big advocate for that community, for the LGBT community.
So you know what would have been a good idea?
What?
If we had somebody from the LGBT community, I guess like LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what the Q stands for.
Queer.
God, I thought that was a term that they didn't like.
No,
We'll get into that later. But
no, they use it for that. You see how hard I just tapped it. I
do know that because there was a few shows back in the day. Matter of fact, they in my studies in media and cinematography, they even had networks catered to them. So I understand that's a term that has become endearment for them. But I'm saying them like these people aren't people, but I'm sorry if that's the wrong terminology. But I
don't think it's as bad if you saying them as the group.
Okay.
You know.
So I don't want to exclude or single out anybody because we're all humans at the very base. We're humans, right? And so this is rough. But going back to what you were saying. That's rough. But it would have been nice if we had somebody to represent that community to speak tonight. So but since we don't, we're looking forward to the comments. We're looking forward to people stepping up and speaking about these issues because we would like that. We want to know what the vibe is, not only in America but around the world. How does this affect people in other countries? How does this affect people who have gone through this? Does that community as a whole support this situation, knowing that there's now even authorities are questioning the validity of this situation? I want to hear what you guys have to say now and moving forward, because as we move forward, there's going to be more discussion about it, and whether it's faked or whether it's real, that's going to be a blow to not only his career but how he stands in support and how he wants.
Oh, they're going to get him out. Gillette, you out. Gillette, ain't no longer Jussie Smollett. It's Gillette. You cut that razor. Not literally. So
we keep sliding away from this. What exactly don't you like? The fact that the authorities now are saying that it may be a hoax?
No. The thing is with me is him, and then it's the authorities. Because if anybody know, there's a lot of stories, but Chicago police are known of frauds, right? Yeah, and shout out to everybody that's police officers in Chicago. Right now, I don't have no paperwork to say that's a fact, so let me say allegedly. They're allegedly frauds.
Well, we do have situations, and not staring away, but there's been some people gunned down, some people shot, some mismanagement of funds, and so other things going on with not only that city, not only that state, but all around the United States. There's a lot of police departments that are now, getting blows for the actions that have been promoted and expressed by them. So they get to hold that sword. And I know some police officers, and I'm not saying all police officers are bad.
Yeah, I'm not saying that either. I
mean, these things, this is the vibe, and if it's the vibe, we gotta discuss it.
Yeah, Chicago police give a weird vibe sometimes. I could say that. And
Let's say PD as a whole.
Yeah, PD as a whole. Yes, I like that better.
I'll say that. So
we agree on that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And the thing really is, like I said, the thing that bothers me most, that you're playing with people's lives. That's all it is for me. You're playing with people that I know.
Right.
You know, you're playing with people's lives that rally behind you. You know, that's really, all the celebrities was posting you when the story came out.
Right.
I don't see, and I'm on Instagram. I don't see. Well, I haven't looked as of lately. I haven't looked within the last 5 hours. I was looking at the Shade Room and Ball Alert. Those are like the two primary. They like the same. They like the two primary like media outlets that give you kind of pop culture, like pop culture-ish.
Yeah, but they've had a lot of things that was wrong on them shows, on them media outlets as well.
That is true. But
so
what I want,
are we gonna hold? We can't hold those to the same journalistic, if that's the correct word.
No, but what I'm saying is, I watched them post the initial report when he got attacked, and then I think one more report after that, and then from the beginning of the week when the hoax thing came out to now, I haven't heard him put nothing.
So what's happening now?
So now what is happening now is let me see. You want to read this for me?
Sheesh. Let's see. It says a Chicago Police Department spokesman said that the tragedy of the investigation has shifted, citing the testimony of brothers who were interviewed. Your screen is turning black. Who were interviewed about the alleged attack and released without charges on Friday. So these people were released. The spokesman did not confirm the news reported about the case.
By the way,
which
don't mean to cut you all those Nigerians I was talking about.
You did say that. Which cited police sources. I'm sorry. Which cited police sources. Some people need to work on their grammar here. It says Jussie attorney said that his client has been further victimized by these reports. So his attorney, he has a lawyer. So you know what can happen here, which would be interesting. If these things turn out to be true, he may have a lawsuit against the police department as well.
Yes, yeah.
If they're reporting that this is a hoax, if they held firm that this is a hoax and the investigation moves forward, he can say that they didn't properly investigate the situation, which would be a really damning situation for the department, and it'd be another blow. Another blow for the American Police Department, which is why, in a sense, the communities don't like police to begin with. But that's another topic for another time, so we're going to stay away from that.
And again, my gripe is, like, I just have a problem. I just have issues, even though it probably did happen to him, is the fact that I'm seeing these hoaxes, the word hoax in it. And if you allegedly really made the story up, like, it's bad. Like, you hurting people that I know feelings, that's been attacked, bullied, and all that. Not to mention, especially the our people in that community. We kind of really suffer the most out of everybody, I think, if I remember correctly. And that's it. So to the people that's part of the LGBTQ community, I'm riding with y'all. Keep your heads up. Never want to see nobody get attacked for who you are and who you love or whatever. I'm not with that. And especially my beautiful brown people. Definitely don't want you to see you get attacked because of who you are as a person and what's the color of your skin. And more will come out soon. And pray for the victims. Pray for the victims. Pray for the victims.
Definitely, man. We have to. It's a really rough time now, because there's a lot of different social change that's happening. There's a lot of things here that come into play. There's a lot of people feel slated against, and that's something that we don't want. But as a community, it's important that we tackle these issues head on, and it's important that we raise awareness to these things, because along with the victimization and the bullying is depression and, you know, other psychological issues. These people are feeling detached from their communities, feeling detached from their homes, and whatever your stance is personally against homosexuality or the LGBTQ community and the things that they stand for, any attack against any human or any social issue, it's important that everybody gets their fair shake. So with that, I mean, I don't know if you want to close it off there.
We will
Until further information comes out. But if that man is lying, then that man needs to be held accountable for all of the things that he may have caused.
He definitely does.
Telling the truth.
If he is, I will backtrack on everything I'm saying. I have
backtrack. You'll own it.
Yeah.
Because backtracking means you'll run away from it. But you will own it and you will stand strong and say you were wrong. And I mean,
I have no problem with I'm wrong either.
When we're wrong. But again, yeah, you know, this is not going to be a very ante conversation and episode this week, but you know, we have a few other things to talk about. Something that's been really heavy on my mind moving forward, away from the Jussie situation, but to another social issue that has been prevalent on my mind is the laws that's been passed just recently, actually, and it's a little bit of war. I don't know if you was aware, but New York kind of changed their laws on abortion.
I didn't hear nothing about that.
Wow, and it's been really tough for me, because I guess I'll lay it all out. So when people say they're against abortion and they're pro-life versus being pro-choice, I think the definitions of those things are a little slated. So I'm going to lay what I feel and how I view things, and then I'm going to briefly discuss it, because I don't want to stick on this topic too long.
Okay.
Maybe 5 minutes at most.
I'm going to follow you through.
So I am pro-choice. A lot of people will say, wow. And bringing up another biblical topic, so a lot of people who look at things from a biblical spectrum feel as though abortion is wrong. Mm-hmm. And I would wholeheartedly agree with that. I don't feel as though abortion is correct. But like anything else, you know, there's situations where if a person was sexually assaulted and other situations like that. It's important that we don't hide from those issues, but we do better to make sure those things don't happen. But with that being said, although I'm against abortion, I am pro-choice, meaning just like the Bible gives us a position where we can choose how we want to live our lives, and any other religious spectrum kind of offers that same opinion. You know, although these things are wrong, you have the choice to either be right or be wrong in those stances. And even if you don't feel as though that's wrong, you have the choice in not doing that as well. Right. You know, I am one who says live your life the way you want to live it, and deal with whatever consequences that come with that. And whether that be a reward, because consequences don't always have to be negative, but consequences are consequences. Right. They are situations that are brought forth based off of the choices and actions that you chose to do or live. Right? So they are situations that precede your verb. I like the way I said that. That was fly on front. But back to New York, right? So recently they passed the I believe it's called the Reproductive Health Act, right? And that extends the length in which a woman can have an abortion, right? Now, the question is what is life, or when do you view that state of being, or that embryo becoming life within a woman, right? So let's put what I know about the law. So the law, and there was a woman who I think helped created the bill, and a few lawyers speaking about this matter, and there were some questions asked about the bill,
right,
because they're planning on passing, and I believe the state was Virginia. So in their passing of this law and bringing it to different states and having other people pass it, I know the politicians in New York were very happy about this law being passed. So what I know about this law is you have about 24 weeks or about 3 months before you can have an abortion terminated. Now that has been extended all the way to the 3rd trimester. Now, in the 3rd trimester, you've already had a heartbeat. The 3rd trimester, you've already experienced movement within the child in the stomach.
So wait, hold on.
I'm sorry.
Let me make sure. No. Let me make sure I'm hearing correctly. So they passed a law that you still can get an abortion.
Exactly. So,
but they extended the time that you can't. Okay, I'm still trying to understand.
No, they extended the time in which a woman can say, "I don't want to have this baby."
Oh.
Aborted. So, when the woman was speaking, the question was asked all the way up to the 3rd trimester. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? At the beginning of the 3rd trimester, at the end of the trimester, the woman said all the way to the 3rd trimester, mm-hmm. throughout the 3rd trimester. So the guy asked, again, the gentleman asked the question. I'm not sure who the gentleman was posing the question, but he said up until when a woman's dilating. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if you know anything about birth, but when a woman is dilating, that's the moments right before the baby.
Listen, let me just tell you something real quick. Quick little, not really a segue, but a segue. I've seen this video. I never watched the video of a woman giving birth, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I have watched the animal give birth. It was a cow. Not to compare the two, but what I seen, I literally passed out, man. I was like, nah.
Well,
I don't see that.
I look at it as a very beautiful experience.
No, it was beautiful, but then it's like it was a weird. My mind was trippy, man. It was going through a lot. I was like, yay, but then it was like, oh, and then it was like, hey, and then it was like, oh my god, and then I was like, yo, I ain't literally passed out, but like, I got and I'm not usually the queenish type, but that was just weird.
Yeah, Shawn. What was definitely weird is the fact that you're watching cows being birthed. But
don't judge me.
Had to take a little bit of a dig. Segueing back into what I was talking about, though. This abortion thing, it really messed me up. Because like I said, you know, they've extended it from the 3-month time frame all the way up into the 3rd trimester. And when they were asking about the 3rd trimester, mm-hmm. the question was all the way through the 3rd trimester, and the woman's response was the whole 3rd trimester. So basically, when the woman is dilating,
you see my face.
When the woman is dilating, I know. When a woman is dilating, she can decide that she doesn't want this baby.
Right.
She wants to abort this baby. Now, for those who don't know what dilating is, it's when your cervix begins to expand, allowing the child to enter into this world, to leave your womb.
So basically, what you're telling me is, they made it so where they passed the law. They passed the law to where now you can abort basically. When at any point then a full-born, yeah, that's
not born, but a baby in the process of being born.
Yeah, that's someone. Now, I'm not.
If I'm mistaken, then I would say I'm wrong. But there's a few questions that come into play. and this has ramifications on other laws. So the first thing is, the question of when is life? When does a child become life? For me, once the sperm hits the egg and an embryo is beginning, that's life. What laws have stated thus far until this change was life is created within that first 3 months. Right. Which also goes into other laws of, manslaughter and those type of things. Like we had that case when, forgive me, I can't remember the gentleman's name. I can't call him a gentleman. He was very far from it. But a man killed his wife, and she was pregnant. And he got first degree murder for killing a wife. What? And second degree murder because the baby died as well. And there's been other instances where people were involved in abuse, domestic violence cases, where these men were getting X amount of years because they killed 2 people. Yeah. According to, what that 3-month cutoff was. Which is a bit long for me even then. But now you've extended it to the 3rd trimester. So what does that mean for those guys? Right? Not only that, but what does that mean for that baby? Now, so the other spectrum is, or the other side of the argument is the fact that there's certain neurological things and certain things that can jeopardize the child, which is why they're saying we have to give more time for this brain, I guess, to develop to be able to track some of these things. To me, none of that matters. When I say I'm pro-choice, I mentioned this a little earlier, meaning you have the right to do these things. But we have to judge when are we committing murder. Right. And for me, it's hard. Not that I'm surprised based off the state of what this world is becoming, but it's like, goodness, how are we're overlooking so many things now to be either politically correct or, being compassionate to one instance, but we're not looking at the big picture here. There's so many things now that can get switched around. Right. So what if a person went on a spree and killed this person? Now that you have this abortion thing extended, what does that mean for them? And I know they can change the wording of laws to ensure that these things being covered. But not only that, but what is the advantage for the mother and that child for having these abortions at these longer period of times? And that's when maybe a physician or a person enacting these things, and don't get me even started on who they said can do these abortions. They even stretch that out. I would think you'll start at that time. If you decide to get an abortion, I would think that is. But there was consultation for these things at first. So now we have to then go and move that. I haven't looked at the whole bill. I haven't looked at the writing of the bill. I've only heard discussions of it. Okay. And the fact that it was passed in New York. So I do have to do more due diligence in actually reading and actually looking at the bill. Right. But what I will say is it's not only interesting, but it's painful to kind of see these things now happen and these things change, which I understand, there's certain instances where you don't want to bring a child into this world, whether they're selfish, whether it's for the child or whatever. I don't even want to step on those lines. But my issue is pushing it back so far. So a woman could be on a delivery table. Ready to, as some people say, port this baby in. Bring this baby into physical. Yeah, some people use those terms. Bring this baby into this physical world.
Not saying that it wasn't in the physical
Sound like you're bringing
world
the
when it
baby
was
in
in
from
the
a
stomach.
shipping yard. Port this baby. Sounds like a shipping yard. To me.
Really, Sean?
Sorry, that's what it sounds like.
But
Serious stuff.
it's rough.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I just wanted to state my piece. It's weird, and I want to allow those who are for the bill to express and maybe articulate why this is a good idea and what am I overlooking, because I could be overlooking some things, but what am I overlooking to make this bill the ideal thing for it to be passed in multiple states now, because that's what it looks like they're aiming to do. But I rest my case on it. Sean, if you have any lasting remarks, by all means. But I just think that's way too late in the game to decide if you want to have a child or not. Because now we're talking about murder, and I definitely think that's murder. And if somebody disagrees, then tell me.
Yeah, again, I haven't even done any due diligence on that subject, so I'm just following what he's telling me. But yeah, that's way too late, and I can speak for my thoughts on abortion, which I haven't stated at all. I feel like it's a pro-choice, it's a choice thing. You know, it's what the mother wants to do. You know, a lot of women are pro-life, and I respect the women that are pro-life. Love y'all, you know. But then I like the women that are pro-choice. You know, for me, it's like it's whatever you want to do for me. You know, in some circumstances where, in my opinion, I feel like I'm just going to say that I feel like abortion may be necessary in certain instances, in certain situations. You know, I don't need to get into all that, but you know, there's certain times when it may be necessary to go ahead and do that. But then again, it's a lot of trauma on the mother. You know.
Don't forget the fathers as well.
The father, yeah, and the fathers. I
know men get a bad slate dealing with this topic because, you know, the woman carries the child and all of those things, but until science tries to prove us otherwise, it takes DNA from a man and DNA from a woman, those X and Y chromosomes, to produce that baby.
Right.
You know what I mean?
In layman's terms, more than just busting in a woman, all right?
I mean, that's the physical act, but it's a lot of psychological things that come into play with that as well.
Right. And,
you know, be cautious, because at some given point in time, we are not only stopping a life from budding and experiencing, but we're taking away the opportunity, you know, for maybe what some people will feel is a selfish choice. But I'm gonna leave it at that, man. I don't want to go too deep into that. Hopefully we have some less heart heavy, less emotional topics to come and wrap this thing up with. Sean, what else happened in the week that's on your mind?
That's about it as far as what I was paying attention to. The Grammys was on. I did watch it, but I'm not about to report the Grammys. I'm not going to report the Grammys.
I didn't watch it at all, Sean. I'm gonna be honest.
You're not really an awards guy.
I'm not.
Cause you don't agree with nothing that's on an award.
I don't say that, man. It ain't that bad.
Cardi B got rap album. Who got rap album of the year? Hold on, let me check.
Who was the nominee?
Oh well, she got record of the year.
Okay.
She got record of the year.
Was that duly deserved? Album of the year?
No, hold on. Yeah, I'm saying something false real quick. All right, so she won. No. Excuse me. So I'm just going to read a couple of the nominations.
Go through the list. We don't have to do the whole Grammys. Just pick a few.
Our record of the year went to Childish Gambino for "This Is America."
Okay.
Album of the year goes to Golden Hour. Who's this? Casey McGraves? Yeah, whoever that is. Tracy McGraves. I never heard of him. Song of the year goes to This Is America Again. Donald Glover. Shout out to Donald. Shout out to Gambino for y'all don't know who he is. Best new artist is Dua Lipa. I think that's the girl that does that song that goes like, I'm in Havana in Atlanta. It's on the radio everywhere. You heard that song somewhere. Best pop solo performance goes to, who is this? Oh, Lady Gaga. Really? Yes. Okay. Lady Gaga. No, actually, hold on. Yeah, that is Lady Gaga. Anything else? Let me go to the rap stuff. I don't care about that other shit.
Shout out to all genre of music.
Man, nah. Yeah. Shout out to y'all, but I don't care about. I don't care about.
All music is beautiful.
Sean. Best R&B performance. Shout out to her. Her
did her thing.
Her is incredible. I love her music.
Yes.
I love her music. Shout out to her. Shout out to her. Whoever her is, shout out to her. Let's see. Alright, come on, man. Alright. Where the hip hop, man? Oh, here we go. It's a tie, actually, for the best rap performance between the song Dead Kings. You know the song with Fusion going la-dee-da-dee-da, slap me, pass me some syrup. Yo, that's my shit. I ain't gonna front. That little cadence he got.
Wasn't that was Kendrick?
Yeah, but he was on the song. But yeah,
he was on the song, but that was Kendrick's
part.
It's
Kendrick. Kendrick, J-Rock.
Yeah,
Future.
I know, but that was, you just said Kendrick's part.
No, that was Future part.
I thought that started off with Kendrick first.
No, the part that goes like la-dee-da-dee-da.
That was Kendrick's part.
No, that's Future that said that part. I put it on. If you want to hear it again,
we don't gotta do all that. But
do Kendrick sound like somebody that's gonna go?
I believe that was Kendrick.
No, that was Future.
Okay.
It was J-Rock went on, and then his went on right after that.
Okay.
So Kendrick and Anderson .Paak got rap performance. Anderson .Paak is pretty good. I'm getting a little familiar with him a little bit more. Best rap and song performance went to This Is America Again. All right. Best rap song goes to Drake. What? God's Plan.
I know you like that.
I don't like that song. I don't like that song.
But you like that Drake got that big up. Didn't Drake say something like they had to shut his mic off or something like that?
Yeah, he was alluding to like saying, listen, just want to let you people know watching, you don't need
basically this. That it don't mean nothing.
Yeah, and then they said cut. They said fuck out of here, cut. And they cut him off. They did him dirty.
But it was true though. Like these awards amount to nothing to me. In my opinion,
but you
good music is good music.
You can't be talking at their award shows. You got awards.
Of course not. But I mean, it's a good little buzz.
All right, so ready for the last thing I'm going to talk about on here? Best rap album. I'm gonna read you the candidates or the nominees. First one went to. Oh my bad. So here's the nominees: Cardi B with Invasion of Privacy.
Mm-hmm.
I like that album. Mm-hmm. Second one is Mac Miller. Swimming. Mm-hmm. Third one is Victory Lap, my favorite album last year. Fourth one is Daytona by Pusha T. Mm-hmm. Fifth one is Astroworld by Travis Scott.
Some good music there.
I only listened to 3 of them albums, which was Cardi B's, Nipsey's, and Daytona by Pusha T. Nipsey was my favorite.
I'm gonna tell you who I want to win. I'm gonna tell you who I think is gonna win, and you tell me if I'm correct. Out of all of that, shout out to Push, but I think Nipsey got it. I want Nipsey to get it. Let's put it this way.
Well, the Grammys happened.
I know it happened. I don't.
You just talking. Okay.
I don't know who won, but I'm gonna tell you who I want to win. I'm gonna tell you who I think won. I wanted Nipsey to win, based off the list you just gave me. I wanted Nipsey to win, but I feel Cardi B took it. Was I wrong?
She won. She won rap album.
Yeah,
why you sucking teeth?
Because everybody who knows me know that I don't think Cardi got bars. I mean, yeah.
She allegedly, she don't write.
It's what the wave is. It's what the vibes is. But
it's a good vibe. She give you that good vibe.
No, she don't.
For the women, hold on. For the women out there, they like what she talk about.
But this is my point, though. To that, and we can get into holding people to higher standards, because that's what I want to see happen with music. We're always gonna have that gritty. This is what I come from, and I don't think there's no problem with that. I think that's a good thing. But
excuse me.
Come on, man.
Sorry.
That will not be edited out.
Woo!
Because you sounded horrible. But what I will say is, it comes a point in time when I want to see music at its purest, and not somebody who I feel may be portraying a character, because it's a character that sells.
Right.
And I'm gonna leave it at that. And on that note, that was as they say, a hot take.
Yes, it was.
On that note, I will say this is discussing the vibes, and the vibes have been discussed.
Yes, it was a really nasty yet serious. I don't want to say nasty. I don't even think Mr. Gillette was even nasty. That's just a situation where
you want to know what I think?
What?
I think it's coming to a point where the world is becoming more conscious, and things are becoming a lot more serious around us. So the nature of the vibe is taking a more adult, serious, more hard-hitting approach. And we got to deal with these things as they come. Because
yes,
if we lay a blind eye to it, we will be doing what we've done for years, what history has shown us, and we won't be learning from our mistakes. So it's important now that we turn to and focus.
I agree with you, man.
All right, now there you have it, people. I'll be looking and waiting for your comments. We hope that you guys enjoyed this talking tonight, and with that, we'll say it's a wrap.
Yes, thank you to the listeners. Much appreciated. Shout out to the listeners, the subscribers. Please feel free to like, dislike, criticize, give thumbs up, all that. I want all the smoke. And with that, we are OUT out of here. Peace. Discussing the vibes.